How's it going, guys? So for today's video I thought I'd talk about buying and selling reptiles here in Australia. Now for those of you who may not know, here in Australia it's actually illegal in most places to capture a reptile out of the wild and keep it as a pet. In most places you need some sort of license or permit in order to keep these guys in captivity. And with that, these guys need to actually be captive bred animals. So with those things in mind, it is a bit more of a process to actually acquire a reptile here in Australia, but truth be told, it's pretty easy in most places, depending on what state you live. Oftentimes you just need to pay a small fee to get the license, and then you can keep a range of basic reptiles like these guys here. This is a blotched blue tongue. This little fella's named Grumpy. One of my babies I produced this season, and he's named Grumpy because usually he's not the happiest little fella. He's always trying to bite me and go a bit crazy, but he thought he'd behave for the camera today. Now, seeing that it is breeding season at the moment and baby season, I get a lot of questions and people wanting to know where they can buy reptiles from. Where do I get my reptiles from? We're going to go through a few different options. Now, option number one is online sellers. So there's a few websites here in Australia that sell reptiles online. The two ones I use are Reptile Classifieds Australia and Reptiles Down Under. Now these are basically sites where people with reptiles can post ads of things they have for sale with basic information like the location, the price, and what's required for the animal. You can pick through those and see what's available at any given time. Now you do have to be careful with websites like these because sometimes scammers will go on there and post up fake ads and get you to send money and then never reply to you. So just be careful with that sort of stuff. Be smart and be careful. Another option is somewhere like Facebook or Instagram. Even though technically animal sales aren't allowed on there, you can follow breeders online when they post up animals and whenever they get litters and things like that, and you can see if they're breeding their animals. You could send them a personal message and start getting in a conversation to see if down the line you could maybe purchase one of those animals. Another option is of course pet shops. There's a lot of pet shops around Australia that actually can sell reptiles, but they usually only have basic species, so it really depends what you're after. But they'll have things like blue tongues and bearded dragons and your common sort of beginner snakes and things like that. The only problem with pet shops is sometimes they can really hike the price up for no good reason, as well as try and sell you a lot of unnecessary products along the way, so just keep in mind for those sort of things. But there is some great pet shops out there that do a really good job, so it's great to look at reviews and what other people's experiences are and go from there. How stunning is that little fella? So the last option, of course, is actually reptile expos, or places where people can gather and sell animals. So this year and last year with COVID, there's really no reptile expos going on, but hopefully later in this year and start of next year, the expos will be back and they have a plethora of options, lots of different breeders, lots of people come out and they bring some amazing animals. So I bought many animals from expos before. It's usually a great experience, but again, you got to be careful, watch out for people trying to rip you off and things like that. Always look at the quality of the animals, and it even helps beforehand to message the breeders that are going there or whatever to see what they'd have, or if you just pick up something beforehand or meet them there, that sort of thing. But yeah, just look around and don't buy the first thing you see. Be reserved, wait, and you'll find something great. Now, as a reptile breeder myself, I want my animals to go to a great home with a good owner and to have a quality life. I don't bring these animals into the world for them to go on and suffer and be neglected and things like that. So it really helps for us sellers if the buyers can really convince us that they're going to do a good job. I think any good breeder that actually cares about their animals will be more than happy to chat with anyone about any concerns, questions, anything involving the animal that they may eventually purchase. So if you're a buyer and you want to convince the seller that you're someone worth selling to, then you should be asking questions, you should be getting really excited, you should be wanting to know more and more about the animals and getting as much information as you can and really having a good dialogue back and forth with that breeder. Any quality breeder will be more than happy to spend that time if they know you're going to be a serious buyer and put in the effort for the animal. So there's a couple of options to get you started on your quest to find a reptile or two or three or etc. Just understand the reptiles are addictive. Go at your own pace, take it slow, and think about the animals first. Now, if you have anywhere else that you buy reptiles from that you think's really great, leave it in the comments below. Give me a follow on my Facebook page, link in the description if you want to see what I'm breeding and possibly moving on in the future, things like that, as well as more updates and everything to do with my collection here. Otherwise, leave any other comments or questions below. I'll see you in the next video. Have a